Hi everyone, it's Nichol Spohr and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be creating some flat shaker cards with no bulk using the brand new pretty pink Posh dies. I want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel, make sure and hit that thumbs up and click that notification bell to always be notified when I have a new video. We're going to be creating our flat shaker cards in two different colorways, one Valentine's and then taking the exact same design and switching up the colors to make a birthday card. This could be any occasion just by changing up your colors. We're going to be using this brand new die from Pretty Pink Posh called Love Hearts. This is an A2 sized panel die and it is going to create beautiful backgrounds. So my cutting plates are slightly warped even though I flattened them out here a couple weeks ago. So my die, because it's pretty intricate, took a little bit to die cut, but I do want to tell you that I was able to get a very good cut just by running it through a couple more times. There was one little spot, and I think it was due to where it fell on my cutting plate that had a harder time cutting, but I moved it around and was able to get a great cut. We're going to do this twice because we are going to be creating two different panels in two different colorways, but all of the assembly is going to be the same. So with an intricate die cut like this, you might want to take a brush tool to roll it over the back to remove any of those little bits and pieces. I'm going to show you using the Spellbinders tool-in-one for that here in a minute. Now I'm coloring in my cover plate images with Copic markers. I have listed those markers on the top of the screen. I've listed them down below in the description here on YouTube, as well as on my blog post that coordinates with this video. So hopefully if you want to know exactly which colors I'm using, you can find that information there. This is going to be the Valentine's themed card. I'm doing a peachy pink for my flowers here. I'm going to color part of this. It is sped up just to save some time, but then I will speed up the rest of the coloring so that we're not here forever, because I do want to show you coloring the other colorway since it's completely different colors for both the flowers, the hearts, and the leaves. This is our 30, 32, 35, and 37. I'm using 30, 32, and 35 for the flowers. The 37 is going to come in for the heart, as well as, no, just the heart. For the green, I like a minty green with this color combination a lot of the times. I thought it just, for me, it was kind of springy. This is G9, 2, and 0, 0. I love this color combination, and you can see that I'm just kind of laying down my dark color, blending out with the medium, and finishing with the light. Sometimes I put the dark color first, then the light, then the medium color. It completely is up to you how you want to color these in. There is no right or wrong way. And I did protect my work surface. I am using the Altenew craft mat here, and to make sure I'm not getting Copic marker all over it, even though it looks like I need to clean my mat. It's got some stuff on it, some schmutz on it there. I do like to use a scrap piece of paper. This is the sheet, the half sheet of 8.5 by 11 Nina 110-pound cardstock I used to die cut this cover plate here. Now I'm tracing out the hearts with our 35 and 37. I will tell you that I will color in the hearts, the solid hearts. So I didn't keep anything that cut from this design other than the 3 pieces for the hearts. So that's going to be the 2 big heart chunks, as well as that little slice in between where they overlap. And I kept those because I think it's going to be really pretty to inlay those back into the design. You could totally inlay any of this if you wanted to. I think it would be a massive undertaking. I think it would be beautiful, but I think it would be a lot of work. Probably wouldn't do a shaker that way. I did need some sort of window so we could see the shaker bits and bobs there in the background of this design. So I'm going to speed up the video a little bit here and color in the rest of the images. We're going to continue to color in the entire cover plate. I am avoiding the edges so it has this fantastic stitched design right in the center, and I'm going to leave that white. You could always choose to color that in with a contrasting color if you wanted to, or cover it up with another sort of frame die. There I used my Spellbinders Tool-in-One to kind of help remove some of the little bits and pieces stuck within. I see there's still a few there that I need to get out. But I'm just kind of working my way down this panel, filling all of this in. So I know it's a little hard to see, but once you have it all colored in, it is so, so pretty. Total time that these two cards took me to make in real time with no fast forward was 1 hour and 48 minutes. And that is pretty accurate, I believe. I did have to pause a couple times and things, but I kept track of the time. And the only thing I think I didn't do, I didn't die cut the other cover plate on camera. So maybe a little bit longer. I mean, whatever it took to die cut that. So once we have all of this colored in, like I mentioned earlier, I want to color in the solid hearts because we are going to inlay those back into the design. I am going to use my same red markers, but I'm going to use some color combinations that I've used for the flowers for the most part. We're going to incorporate more of that R37 here though, and I will show you that since I want them to appear to be two different shades of red. I hope that makes sense. So the first one, R37 and R35, I went around the edges with R37, then blended that out with R35, and then I am really saturating the cardstock with R32. For the second flower heart, I am going around the edges with R37, blending out with R35, and then really saturating the paper with R35. Just that one little difference of not using R32 gives it a much darker look. So I've set aside my first background, and I'm going to work on the second one. You can see we're going with a completely different color combination. I'm using BV31, 34, and 29. This is a favorite color combination for doing beautiful kind of periwinkle purple color flowers. I've been using it quite a bit lately for floral designs, and I went in with BV31 first. I'm gonna go or kind of feather out from the center with BV29. Then I'm going to feather out again with BV34, my mid-tone color, and I found what worked best for these flowers was to go over the whole thing again with my BV31. For the green on here, I felt like mint was not going to be the right color choice, so I went with my favorite blue-green color combination, which is BG90, 93, and 96. This color combination really works well with this particular purple. There's also a blue color combination as well as like a Christmas green that I really like this color combination with. Also like a mustardy yellow. I feel like it's a really good basic, so this can be kind of a spring feeling card or color combination, but it also works really great for fall. I like this color a lot. Again, I am just going to color in a portion of this background on camera. Well, I colored all of it on camera. A little bit slower so you can kind of see the process, but then I'm going to speed it up here and color in the rest because it's simply repetition over and over as far as the flowers and the leaves. For our hearts, we are again going to make those a little bit darker and more prominent, but I'm not doing any extra color here. It's going to just be our blue-violet colors in 34 and 29. I will show you how I get two shades for the hearts using all three colors here in just a second. If only we could color this fast in real time. It would cut down the process a lot. However, coloring is very relaxing and very fun. This, all things considered, was a very easy background to color. I have colored in some that are much more detailed and take a little bit longer. This went really quick for the most part. The coloring probably was the longest or the most time-consuming part of this though, because the rest of the assembly is super easy. If you have packaging from stamps, dies, anything like that, nice, flexible, clear packaging, hold on to that packaging if you want to make clear shakers, because that is what we're going to be using today, and it is fantastic. You need something flexible and really pliable. I'm using BV 29 and 34 for the dark heart, and you can see that it took a little bit of work. And I'm really, really saturating the cardstock. The more saturated, the better the blend. Then for the lighter heart, we're not going to use BV 29 at all. We used BV 34 and 31. Okay, we have all of our components for our front of our cover. Let's ink blend some backgrounds. You could always use a solid cardstock if you want, but I opted to do some really fast ink blending. We're using Pawsitively saturated inks from Simon Says Stamp in Cheeky, Blush, and Pucker for the first background. And I picked these ink colors. I love ink blending with the Pawsitively saturated inks. However, it doesn't have to be these inks. That just complemented the colors I chose to color in my cover plate, because for my purple and green are the more, I don't know, it's not really olive. I don't know what. Dusty Sage, that's a good name for what color I colored those. I chose some dye inks. I completely went off of the colors and not the kind of ink. So these are basic dye inks, and I am using the Dusty Sage and SEAFOAM inks from Simon Says Stamp, ink blended together. I only used 2 colors here, and that is going to give me a beautiful background that complements the greenery. So I went with the flower heart color combination for the Valentine's card, and I went with the leaf color combination for the other card. It totally does not matter. You can do whatever you want there. That's just kind of where the spirit took me, I guess. Now I want to trim down my background panel, and I think I even end up trimming it down more, maybe not, but we want it to be smaller because we're going to be wrapping some plastic around here, and I want it to be within the A2 size card. So here is my clear packaging that I was talking about. I am simply going to trim this down. I'm trimming off the sticky part from where the background stamp was in here. And then I'm just going to use my background panel kind of as a guide. It's probably about 3/4 of an inch on each side. And then I just need to snip the seams on either side of this. It's probably not super even. It's close though. I want to have plenty to wrap around the sides of my cardstock panel. Now I opted to do a colorful background panel as I thought it would really show off the shaker material as well as the coloring of the Love Hearts plate. And I did trim these down. I really wanted to make sure that they are going to be back behind. So I have my 2 pieces of plastic. I'm going to lay these down. We're going to lay the background upside down on here, and we're basically going to enclose our background in the plastic. What's needed to be successful here is a very strong adhesive, and I highly recommend not using a liquid adhesive. Liquid adhesive is going to be messy. This is a flat shaker, so no foam adhesive is needed. I am using some Lawn Fawn double-sided adhesive, and this is a fantastic, strong adhesive. you want to use something, if possible, with a backer to it, because we're only going to be removing 3 sides to start with. So I remove the bottom and I'm going to fold up one, or top, either whichever way, and we're going to fold that up. There's going to be some excess at the corners, and so I'm trying to figure out the best way to remove some of that, and I think trimming them at an angle is going to be the best, because yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I got smarter with the second one, I promise. Don't cut too close. You don't want to create a hole, but removing some of that excess before you fold it in does really help. So then we're going to fold in one of the long sides. Just going to snip the other corner. We'll remove the backing paper from the other long side. Fold that up nice and tight. You can see I'm really making sure it's tight right around the cardstock. And then we've left the top open. That's like our little envelope closure. And I've got a couple of different shaker materials. I am using up all those little bits and bobs from my stash. I've been on a shaker kick before Christmas, and I'm still on one. So this is the Hero Arts Icicle Glitter. I love a flat shaker because I think glitter looks really cool in flat shakers. And then I'm using some Lucy's Little Things sprinkles in Hearts Purple. I don't know how long I've had these, probably quite a while, but I thought they really looked pretty with these particular colors. I don't know if it's still available or not. Use what you have. Definitely don't feel like you have to use just this exactly. Most of us have so many sequins, glitters, little confetti bits and bobs in our stash that it's a great way to use them up in a shaker. I even added a little more icicle glitter. I removed the backing from that other side, secured it down, and then I like to shake it up. The more you shake it, the kind of better it evens out and looks so pretty. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. Isn't that amazing? My studio lights glare off of this a little bit, but it's a small price to pay. At least the lighting is better for the video. The glare is kind of annoying, but if we didn't have this, it would be so dark. Now I'm taking the thinner Lawn Fawn double-sided adhesive around the perimeter of my Love Hearts background. We'll peel the backing paper off. And then what I found worked best, you could take this to your shaker background, but I found that I actually like to lay that upside down and take my shaker background to that. And you can see by cutting it slightly smaller that it was a lot easier to make sure it fits exactly back behind with wrapping that plastic around the edges. You are going to want to use something really pliable like plastic, the clear acetate, not acetate, the clear plastic from packaging. Acetate is going to be too thick. It's not going to be pliable and it won't work. Then I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to my card base, and you can see that compared to a traditional shaker, how thin this is. It is amazing. I'm going to inlay the bottom heart. The top heart we want to leave for now because we will be doing a little stamping. I did avoid liquid adhesive at all costs here. You can see I used my tape runner, and I also used the double-sided adhesive to secure that heart. And then I'm simply going to set this one aside and go ahead and do the same thing for the second background. So we're going to go around the perimeter of the background. We have trimmed it down slightly smaller than A2 size. The double-sided adhesive is great because we can leave one of those backing papers on until we have filled our flat shaker with the shaker bits. I'm making sure it's secured really well. I always use the sharp tip of my Spellbinders Tool-in-One to peel off the backing paper. And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball center it as good as I can. Here I'm using the grids on my mat as well as my cardstock. And then we're simply going to fold up the short side. We're going to snip the corners at an angle, not too close because we want to make sure we have a good secure bond. fold in one of the other long, or both long sides, pardon me, and then the top, leave the envelope open. I went ahead and cut those two at an angle, and I'm going to fill my flat shaker with the icicle glitter. And this time we're going to be using some, I believe this is Honeybee Stamps Heart Confetti in Tiny Red. I don't know, this might still be available, it might not. I did not even look, but just any kind of confetti that matches the colors of your project. I thought the red would be really pretty here and show up nicely against that kind of peachy pink color we used to ink blend the background. Look at that mix. Oh my goodness, you guys. Even if you didn't inlay the hearts, that would be so super pretty because you're just going to get more of the shaker look through the window. So I've secured this. We're going to put the not foam adhesive, oh my gosh, whoops. We're going to put the double-sided adhesive around the edges of our frame, and then we will do the same thing we did before. I find it's easier to lay this up, keep this upside down, and then take the shaker to the back of this and then secure the whole thing to a top fold card base. If you haven't heard me talk about card bases from Simon Says Stamp before, now is a good time to mention them. I love the pre-cut and pre-scored card bases from Simon Says Stamp. I use them on every project I make. They have top fold, side fold, 4-bar, mini slimline, and slimline, and they are amazing and they make my life so much easier. And then I kind of missed a little spot, so I trimmed that up. Then again, I'm going to shake that up. We're going to inlay the bottom heart back in the spot. And then we're going to be ready to stamp some sentiments on the other heart. By assembling our shaker first before stamping our heart, it also gave the Copic marker hearts, which I saturated those a lot, remember. It gives them time to completely dry because we are going to be stamping and embossing on these. We're going to be taking the Happy Valentine's Day sentiment from the Pretty Pink Posh Valentine Wreath stamp set. Our other sentiment, Lots of Love, will also come from the Valentine Wreath set. I'm going to stamp this first right here on my peachy pink heart with Hero Arts embossing and watermark ink. I am prepping the cardstock first with a powder tool. The powder tool helps ensure that the embossing powder sticks only to what I've stamped and hopefully not anything else. So I'm just going to tap that on, remove any excess, and then we will heat set that. I also stamped a small sentiment on the other heart. This time though, I did use a Simon Says Stamp Tiny Words birthday stamp set that says this is a paper birthday hug to turn it into a birthday card. Then I'm stamping Lots of Love from the Pretty Pink Posh Valentine Wreath set using a beautiful purple ink. This is, I want to say the right thing, Velvet Orchid from Simon Says Stamp, and then I'm also using Pucker from Simon Says Stamp. And the great thing about these sentiments is there is a coordinating die for these. I did use the other sentiment from this on another video where I used some of the new January 2022 release products from Pretty Pink Posh. I will link that at the end of the video, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. I'm going to cut my sentiment using some wire snips, and then I will die cut each of these to adhere to my card. And I'm going to be gluing these directly to the card today. No foam adhesive or anything like that. And this sentiment is going to go right on top of that other heart. So let's do that really quick. We'll die cut each of these. Look how close that die cuts the text. And I love the little scripty text here. I have little clear acetate. Oh my gosh, plastic packaging everywhere. Not acetate. Sorry, guys. Then we're going to go ahead and die cut the other sentiment. And we're ready to put it all together, and we're ready to add finishing details, which you guys know is my favorite thing. So let's go ahead and make sure any powder left over is gone. I'm going to adhere my hearts right to the shaker. Isn't that so cute? I just love the little peaks of shaker material around the hearts. Then we're going to glue our sentiment right here in the center of the other one. We'll go ahead and do the same thing for the Valentine's card. I want to make sure there's no adhesive hanging off the edge. We're going to glue in place the lots of love sentiment. That looks good. And then we're going to embellish the center of the flowers. There's lots of ways you can do that. You can use some pearl gemstones. I didn't really have any in the color I wanted, so I'm actually going to use Nuvo crystal drops in silver lining and gloss white. So silver lining on the purple flowers and gloss white on the pink flowers. I am going to speed this up pretty quickly because it was 4 little drops in the center of each. These will take a little bit of time to dry, so keep in mind that you probably want to let this sit for a good 24 hours before trying to mail the card, but it does add awesome dimension, awesome detail to the center of those flowers. And as much as I love the silver lining and think it works really well on the purple flowers, the white is super showy because it shows up so nice against the pink. And little dabs. Finally, the last thing we're going to do is add some little heart embellishments. You guys know I always love adding my heart embellishments. These are all from Lucy's Little Things. I'm using some lilac hearts. We're also using poppy and coral hearts on our Valentine's card. So the lilac, I used 3 lilac hearts on the purple and 2 poppy and 1 coral heart on our Valentine's card. And I just thought that it worked well. But I always love adding a little heart detail to almost every card I make. Not every card, but almost. You guys always tell me when I don't use them. And that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today for these flat shaker cards featuring brand new pretty pink Posh products. I would love to know in the comments if you have created a flat shaker card or if this has inspired you to try your own. The supplies I use to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. If you guys would like to become a member of Patreon, please click the link down below in the description. We would love to have you. Here is another video featuring pretty pink Posh products that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new card making video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I appreciate you all so very much, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!